Thou shalt take down the monument, says a decision by the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals published yesterday.
All in all, we were very pleased that the 10th Circuit continued the ruling that the monument placed by the city of Bloomfield on its front lawn is unconstitutional.
Andrew Schultz was lead counsel for the ACLU in the case against the city of Bloomfield. In 2012, the ACLU filed suit on behalf of 2 Bloomfield residents that feel the monument to the 10 Commandments is inappropriate to have on the lawn of City Hall. The city of Bloomfield maintains that their law that allows private citizens to place monuments is proper.
Anyone can put a historical monument on the lawn. That doesn't indicate or endorse religion in any way whatsoever.
Jonathan Scruggs of the Alliance Defending Freedom says the inclusion of other monuments is an established precedent in Supreme Court.
We feel that's a solid argument to make, and that's one of the considerations we're making is whether to appeal that to the United States Supreme Court.
But a decision to appeal has not yet been made. That's up to the City Council. A decision could be made in the next few weeks.
On October 19th, the first after-school Satan club in the country opened at a Portland elementary school. While that is currently the only club, the founding group, the Satanic Temple, is attempting to start programs in 9 other states, including Texas. The Lone Star State has 3 Satanic Temple chapters, making elementary schools here next on the list: San Marcos, San Antonio, and Austin.
And instead of playing with toys like these, your children may soon be coloring pages out of coloring books like this one, featuring an upside-down pentagram and a goat head. Now, this page is out of the official After School Satan coloring book.
Children are sponges. They're really open-minded, and they're still learning about the world. So we want to give them an opportunity to not give them the answer. We want to give them the ability to ask more questions and discern for themselves, evaluate different pieces of evidence rather than being told, oh, this is what you believe in and here's why.
When inmates check into a New Mexico prison, their rights to practice a religion are typically protected, but one former inmate says her rights were violated when she tried to practice Satanism.
This is a case that really strikes at the heart of questions of religious freedom.
Monica Lujan is suing a state prison chaplain and the Corrections Corporation of America, a private company that helps the state run some of its facilities. In the suit, Lujan claims she was denied the right to have a satanic Bible during her 3-year stint at a prison in Grants. Her lawsuit says prison officials told her that Satanism was prohibited and that she faced retaliation for being a believer.
Staff at the facility were disapproving of her religion, the religion she chooses to practice, and denying her ability to practice that religion.
Freedom of speech taken too far.
It's a very symbolic action. All they did was burn a piece of fabric that is very replaceable.
Unknown Hampshire College students burned the campus American flag Thursday night in protest of Donald Trump's presidential victory. The day before, more than 100 students gathered to lower the flag half-staff.
A group of students were upset by the election results and wanted to lower the flag, and they did so.
Public flags are lowered by the state's command, but Hampshire College is a private institution. John Courtmarch told 22 News the administration wanted to respect the students' wishes by keeping the flag lowered until Veterans Day.
We have a lot of diverse perspectives on what the flag means. We have people on campus who the flag represents oppression, inequality.
The college does not condone the stealing or burning of the flag.
Rather than questioning the ethics of that, it's more important to look at the motivation behind it, to really consider why people are this angry.
The fear is real for many young people who believe a Trump presidency means their parents will be deported. Now a teacher is caught on audio fanning the flames.
Pat, one of the students in the PE class, recorded the teacher's comments. Now parents are calling on the district to make sure the substitute never teaches in LAUSD again.
I don't know how a teacher could say that to a kid.
A father furious after he says his daughter and her classmates were told by a substitute teacher that their parents may be deported 1 day after Donald Trump was elected.
If you were born here, then your parents gotta go. And they're gonna leave you behind in foster care.
One of the 6th grade students recorded the audio of the PE teacher. The students say he is a long-term sub here at Bret Harte Middle School in South LA.
I was scared because how can a teacher tell us that he's just rubbing it in more that Trump won? And we already know that.
The girl's father asked us not to show his daughter's face on camera. She says the teacher made the threats after the students weren't listening in class. Her father is undocumented.
I worry about my dad because I had a nightmare that he wasn't with me anymore.
At one point on the recording, a child asked the teacher a question.
Where are they going to find me?
I got your phone number, your address, your mama address, your daddy address. It's all in the system, sweetie. So when they come and they're illegal, they gotta go.
Luis Reynaga says his daughter and a handful of other students filed complaints with the district. His daughter sat out PE class on Thursday, and there is no school today for the Veterans Day holiday. He says the principal told him the teacher has been let go.
The parents don't speak, don't say nothing. This is when it continue happens.
Democrats now trying to reorganize their party under new leadership after their painful loss in the general election. Senators Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren now appear to be the most high-profile figures left standing as the party looks to bounce back.
Hi, Arthel. Well, right now there is serious soul-searching underway inside the Democratic Party as the party and its supporters still reel from the utter shock of a president-elect Donald Trump. First, Democrats are digesting what went wrong. New reports today to Fox News Channel, we can actually confirm from a source that Hillary Clinton is blaming FBI Director James Comey for her defeat. Clinton holding a conference call today with top campaign funders saying Comey's second letter reopening the investigation into her emails 11 days before the election proved to be a turning point, stopping her campaign's momentum. Others in the party, though, are blaming Clinton's campaign for failing to motivate and connect with what was their party's base, white, blue-collar workers in places like Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan, many of whom voted for Trump. Now, progressives within the party are now looking to Senators Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren as leaders who can shift the party away from the party's establishment. Some Democrats are bitter and believe Sanders could have won this election if it were not for the party establishment heavily favoring Clinton.
Tensions remain high as the nation is still deeply divided over Trump's election. For the third straight night, anti-Trump protesters have taken to the streets, while Trump voters are speaking out in support of the new president-elect.
Hi there, Paula. Good morning. That's right. Overnight, heated anti-Trump protests in more than a dozen major cities across the country. Initially, in a tweet, President-elect Donald Trump dismissed them, but some activists are now saying they hope this is just the beginning of the nation's strongest protests since Occupy Wall Street.
What? Overnight, protesters across the country denouncing Donald Trump's victory. Violent demonstrators seen here in Portland threatened with tear gas after allegedly throwing burning objects at officers.
No, it's being shot in the air.
Investigators saying one protester was hurt in a shooting that broke out during the protest. The injuries not life-threatening. In other cities, Philadelphia, Dallas, and Miami, thousands marching mainly peacefully against the president-elect. Despite Trump's losing of the popular vote to Hillary Clinton, his supporters, who propelled him to win 29 states, say they staged their protests in the ballot box.
Give us somebody who's not a politician. Give us somebody who is successful, but one of the people.
I think he's going to surround himself with the right people.
We know that there's going to be a change now in America.
Tensions also spilling into schools across the country. The FBI now investigating an incident targeting black students at the University of Pennsylvania. According to school officials, students were anonymously added to a group chat featuring racist slurs, threats, and photos depicting lynchings.
People started to get more confidence, and now they see that someone's in charge that shares the same morals. That is they feel confident with projecting that.
In the protests in Portland, police say more than $1 million in damage has been done. There are more protests planned for today in New York and Los Angeles, and reports of plans for a significant protest here in Washington, D.C. on January 20th, when President-elect Donald Trump takes the oath of office.
Turkey warned its citizens of the dangers of traveling to the United States on Saturday in response to increasingly violent protests against President-elect Donald Trump.
So what we have here is a Texas community going underground for doomsday prep. Let me read this. Some upper income Texans are headed down below, not Australia, but below the surface. An investor group is planning for a doomsday scenario by building a $300 million luxury community replete with underground homes. Guys, $300 million is a heck of a lot of money. There will also be airlock blast doors designed for people worried about a dirty bomb or other disaster and off-grid energy and water production.
Monday, November 14th, we have something big going on. It's going to be something spectacular, a spectacular supermoon. And we haven't seen one like this since 1948. We've got NASA scientist Dr. Alex Young with us. He joins us. Alex, quick question right out of the gate. What makes this celestial event so special?
Well, so when the moon orbits the Earth, when it's within 90% of its closest approach, and it's also a full moon, that's what we call a supermoon. But this supermoon is the closest it's been since 1948, and so that means that it's actually going to be bigger and brighter than ever before, and we're not going to have one this spectacular until 2034. So I'm hoping everyone gets a chance to go outside and take a look.
Wow, 1948, so this goes back all the way to the Truman administration.
We are under a state of emergency all across Tennessee because of drought and the threat of wildfires.
It is a level 3 state of emergency, meaning the situation is deteriorating rapidly. More than 300 of Tennessee's 480 water systems are experiencing some impact from drought. At least 3 counties have requested water because wells have run completely dry. Right now in East Tennessee, 53 wildfires are burning, impacting almost 10,000 acres. The state of emergency will get state and federal resources out if needed to protect lives and property. It's emerging as a possible long-term problem.
4 more Americans were killed today in Afghanistan in a major breach of security. A suicide bomber blew themselves up inside the Bagram airfield. That's the largest U.S. military base in Afghanistan. The Taliban claimed responsibility. Over the past 15 years, the United States has spent about $115 billion in aid for Afghanistan. Thousands of American troops have given their lives. About 8,500 remain. President-elect Trump will soon become the 3rd U.S. commander-in-chief to oversee U.S. military operations in a war with no end in sight.
Russia has called on the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons to send a mission to Aleppo, saying it has evidence that Syrian rebels have used chemical weapons there. The Russian Defense Ministry said it had found unexploded ordnance belonging to terrorists, which are suspected to contain chlorine gas and white phosphorus. Moscow said it intends to hand over the evidence to the chemical weapons watchdog for analysis. The OPCW has condemned the use of prohibited toxic agents by both the Syrian government and ISIL militants.
Russia's flagship Admiral Kuznetsov aircraft carrier has reached the Syrian coast. The flotilla of Russian warships is now in the eastern Mediterranean. Commander Sergei Artamanov says the ships are in the designated zone and are jointly carrying out tasks. The battle group traveled from the North Sea through the English Channel in the biggest such naval deployment in recent years. NATO is on high alert and the flotilla is being closely monitored.
Now, a number of terror attacks planned for major Russian cities have been averted, apparently, after a security service counter-terror operation. Our correspondent Roman Kosrov's across this. Hi, Roman. Talk us through what's been happening here.
Well, we do know that this Saturday, a Russian Federal Security Service conducted an operation in Moscow and St. Petersburg and arrested 10 people suspected of terrorism. An agency report said that the suspects planned a series of gun and bomb attacks in 2 of the largest cities in Russia, in Moscow and in St. Petersburg. And they were to focus on public places with large gatherings of people. Now, the FSB said that the suspects had a total total of 4 very powerful improvised explosive devices, as well as automatic weapons. Additionally, they also said that during the questioning, the suspects identified their targets, and they also talked about their accomplices and support base, both here in Russia and in other countries as well. Now, we also know from the FSB that the suspects are of Central Asian origin, and according to the FSB, they confessed to having contacts with the ISIL leaders in the Middle East.
This is some absolutely incredible and shocking video coming out of China. You see where that guy's finger is pointing? They're looking at some security footage. Watch what happens to this car. Left side of the screen. Oh my goodness. Okay, so what that is a sinkhole, and it's crazy. I feel like there have been a lot of sinkholes in China, especially recently. These will tend to happen when you get a lot of rain, and it's really scary because you don't even really know where they're going to fall. And the crazy thing about this video, the car has already flipped, and then it keeps sinking. Now, there was a little bit of a cut there, okay, and you notice that the people actually end up getting out of the cars. It appears that everything ends up just fine here. They get the people out, but that sinkhole, I mean, that thing was pretty deep. Very scary stuff. I think sinkholes is something that maybe some more research should go into. Really, really scary.
Quick, look at this.
Oh, what is that?
Holy crap.
What the hell is that?
Shh. Don't say anything.
Sassy, a 9-year-old Chihuahua, only barks when the doorbell rings. Otherwise, you can find her relaxing in her owner's lap.
She follows me everywhere.
And that has proved to be a good thing.
You love the mama.
Sassy was walking next to 92-year-old Marie Alexander as she went to check the mail outside her Inverness home a couple weeks ago. Alexander didn't take her cell phone. After all, it was going to be a quick trip. But that's when the unexpected happened.
When I went to step up on the walkway, my foot twisted and I just fell backwards.
Alexander was on the ground, and with a fence surrounding her property and shrubs, no one could see her.
I just said prayers.
And perhaps God had Sassy answer them because the dog sprung into action.
She ran down every car that passed.
As Alexander lay in the sun, Sassy did this for 5 hours.
Sassy came up and laid beside me each time and licked my face.
Sassy's perseverance finally paid off. A couple walking by heard the nonstop barking and spotted Alexander. She'd been able to inch her way to a somewhat shady area, coming to rest on an ant pile.
I got ant bites, sores.
Alexander had bruised ribs, was severely dehydrated, and had to be hospitalized. She credits Sassy for saving her life. You can call it a return favor.
I saved her at the shelter, and she saved me.
In Inverness, Jacqueline Inglace, ABC Action News.
How'd you get so